Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you today? It is Thursday morning, and this is Thursday Morning Live. Glad that you're here. Hey, if you are new to the show, glad that you are here with us. Please go out and like us on social media. Anywhere that you get your social media fix, whether that's Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. We're always bringing you great, relevant content, helping try to help you grow your business and grow what you are working on. Today I have a great guest today. I'm excited. Katie Mertens with Human Interest. I love the name of that company, and she really brings some great energy. And we're going to talk about defined benefits. She's from Chicago, and it's on this show, I'm always trying to bring somebody from Chicago. So if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, a restaurant owner here in Chicago, and you would like to be on this show, and we just kind of talk about the world and your business and what's going on, please reach out to me and email me. Or if you know an entrepreneur that would have an interest in being on, please let me know also. Remember, this morning's show is brought to you by My Core Intentions, and we have our annual multifamily summit coming up October 20th through the 22nd. This 3-day virtual event is going to be the biggest virtual event of the year. We've done this event the last few years. I'm excited about it this year. I have well over 20 speakers. I'm going to have nationally known authors, syndicators, owner operators of multifamily on. We're going to have 3 different panels. We're going to play the game Cash Flow. If you've ever played the game Cash Flow, when you play it in a virtual event, it's a totally different perspective. It's a lot of fun. But we're going to have 3 days. If you can't be there for the whole event, it's going to be recorded. You'll be able to get a copy of the recording and go back and listen to it, or listen to different speakers and pick up different ideas and thoughts. So if that's something you're interested in, go get registered today at multifamily22.com, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Hey, let me bring our guest in this morning. Katie, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, listen, I have to tell you, we were talking before the show that, summer went way too fast this year, didn't it?
I know. Yeah, the weather has taken a turn. I love fall, but I can feel winter, taunting
Yeah.
me. And I'm
Did
not.
you, what was the funnest thing you did this summer?
Honestly, just being out in the water.
Yeah.
Give me a boat and water and I'm happy. So
Okay.
did that a few times, and that was probably the best.
Good. Good. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I know that spent a little time down on the lakefront this year myself, and a little bike riding and that, and that was not as much as I did last year, but it was fun. So it was good to get out and see some things. So it's kind of boy, that Labor Day weekend, and then I went to the. What was funny is I went to the pool on Monday, Labor Day, and nobody was there. I actually took a couple pictures. It was like empty. There was like 8 of us there. It was funny, but I think people got caught off because of the weather in the morning.
Yeah, it's a little
So
boring.
yeah. Hey, I always like to start my show by asking my guests one question, and that is, in what one word would best describe you personally and professionally?
Hmm. One word. Um, I would say authentic.
Okay, authentic.
Yeah.
And why do you say that? What makes you authentic?
So personally, I'm, being in sales, I've been in a few roles where I just haven't really felt connected to what I'm doing, and it's really hard for me to sell something if I don't feel connected to it, or I can't really be genuine or authentic about what I'm actually talking about. And so I don't know, maybe call it the East Coast in me, but what you see is what you get. And, I like to be able to be myself personally, but then also in my line of work, that's really important to me. And so luckily my job now lets me to really, really be authentic in who I am and what I do.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, so let's talk about your background a little bit. You said you're from the East Coast. I know that you're relatively new to Chicago.
Yeah.
Um, what's your background? How'd you wind up here? What are you doing?
Yeah. So originally from upstate New York, I went to school in Buffalo. And then shortly after I graduated, I moved to Boston. Didn't know anyone, just kind of thought Boston sounded like a good idea. I think I'd been there one time before, and fell into the asset management space. I didn't realize that Boston was a financial services hub. And so I started at the bottom, realized I wanted to be in sales, and kind of worked my way up. So before I moved here, I was selling mutual funds and working with financial advisors in the 401k space. And so did that for about 7 years, and then just was ready for a change. Wanted to move to a different city. Again, I think I'd been to Chicago one time and liked the thought of it. And so decided to move here March 1st of 2020. And then the whole world shut down. So kind of seeing the city for the first time, call it normal. But, moved here. I worked at a company called Morningstar for a little bit. Got a little more tech experience. And then I've been at Human Interest now for a little over a year.
Okay. What's interesting is you used the word asset management, and that kind of made my ears perk up, right? Because in the business I'm in the multifamily space, we talk about asset management all the time, but that's not what you're referring to in the real estate world. You're referring more to, how do you use that term asset management in your world?
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially my company was a boutique. It was a multi-affiliate mutual fund company. So I was working with advisors saying, hey, that the lineup that they put together for 401k plans, when you log on to schwab.com and you see all of the funds available that you can put 10%, 20%, so on and so forth. I was trying to get our funds in that lineup. And so, that was kind of what I was focused on. So I was meeting with these advisors and talking about the markets and talking about the fund performance and all of that. So that was definitely interesting. I learned a lot. I had no idea what I was doing in the very beginning. But I love a challenge. And so it really motivated me. And I felt, I was on the retirement team, which again, they don't really teach you this stuff in school. Right. And I was alarmed at the stats and the retirement crisis in our country right now. And, the financial services industry can be a little greedy. It can, I was like, what good am I doing? Right. And so being on the retirement side of things, it's extremely important. And I definitely feel connected to what I'm doing. And I know, the mission is so much more than just selling mutual funds. So
I love how you put that they can be a little greedy. Yeah, I see that. And, I've been listening to some things lately that kind of reflect that. And it's kind of, it's interesting, right? Because where's the other side of that for the client, right? For the customer. So sounds like you moved into a position or into a company that thinks more that way.
Yeah. Yep. And again, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you've told me a lot about Human Interest, and I love the company. I love the structure, and talk about that a little bit, how they got started and about Human Interest. I think it's a great model and a really great company.
Yeah. So we were founded in 2015, actually, in San Francisco. Our two founders were actually searching for a 401k for another company of theirs, another startup, and they were just astounded at the lack of options for a small business. And so they said, hey, this is a problem. Let's solve for this. And so, we launched, and that's really what we've been focused on, is to provide 401k and 403 benefits for small to medium-sized companies. Because traditionally 401k is expensive, it's clunky. Small businesses, it hasn't really been an option. And so, some of the stats, like when I talk about alarming stats, 67 million people in this country don't have access to retirement savings.
Wow.
I mean, think about that. That's insane. And so now comes a solution that gives them this opportunity to, actually not have to work forever. And so it really is amazing the things I've seen this company do so far and the difference it's made. It's incredible.
Hey, that's crazy. 67 million people don't have retirement savings.
Yeah.
And what other stats like that are that you work with or work through that make that much of an impact?
Yeah. So another one that sticks out is 1 in 4 Americans aren't on track to retire. I mean, so if you think about that, there's 2 of us right now. You got another 2, only 1 of us. That's
Yeah.
it's pretty. I mean, the outlook is pretty bleak in terms of being able to retire. I mean, you think you're doing enough, you think you're putting away enough, and people just don't realize how much you actually need to live a comfortable life and retire. And personally, I feel connected to it because my grandpa is 82 and he still works, and partially because he likes to work. I think he gets bored, but he also has to, and it breaks my heart because I just want him to relax and enjoy retirement. And I mean, I think of how many other people out there are in the same position. They want to retire, but realistically, they're nowhere near being able to.
Yeah.
And so I think there's so many people, especially my generation and the generation, the younger generation, they aren't thinking about the future. They're just kind of preoccupied, or a lot of them can't afford to put money away. And so, having these employers offer, like these small employers, these startups offer this type of benefit is a game changer.
What's interesting is I don't know that when I was young, I thought about it, right? Because you kind of think you're invincible, like life's never going to end, you're going to go on forever, right? Do you really think about it? And I look at people around me today that are set up financially, that are younger, and I go, man, I wish I would have gotten that. I have a friend, and I'm a huge advocate for real estate, right? I think that real estate is, and I've always been top heavy in real estate, of course. But I have a friend who's he's got a 18-year-old son and a 23-year-old daughter. They just bought their first real estate investments. Now they don't own a home that they live in. They bought a real estate investment, and I just think as an alternative asset, what a way to go. But so talk a little bit more how what's your education process for people? How do you find people and educate them about what you're doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, most of our business is actually referral based. And so I work a lot with payroll partners, financial advisors, benefit brokers, CPAs, anyone that's really having that benefits conversation or that, financial investment conversation. And, they're basically bringing it up because for all intents and purposes, we're a platform, right? Just like Fidelity, just like Schwab. But we're more cost effective and we're fully bundled, meaning we're the TPA, we're the record keeper, and we're open architecture on the investment side. And so really just educating kind of on our differentiators and why we make sense for the small to mid-sized market. And that's kind of how the referrals come in. Yeah. But one thing that I've actually really been trying to educate as many people as I can on is the state mandate in Illinois right now.
Yeah.
So it's alarming because nobody knows about it.
Right. And hold on one second. I want people to listen to this right now, right? Because I think that what you're going to talk about right now is really important. And because when we had lunch, I was amazed at this piece of this. So I just want people to listen right now because what you're going to talk about is important.
Yeah. So and I talk about this and people think I'm joking or like,
yeah, right.
I'm like,
I did.
Yeah. So Illinois has a state retirement mandate right now. A bunch of other states do as well, like California, New Jersey, Oregon, New York. It's all across the board. And it's basically saying right now, if you are a business owner in Illinois with 25 or more employees, you legally have to offer some type of retirement plan. Now, this is all W-2 workers, part-time or full-time. This November 1st, that drops down to 16 or more employees. And then next November, it drops down to 5 or more employees.
Wow.
So, pretty much everybody's going to have to offer something at some point. Now, the catch here is, and I'm going to use Indiana as an example because Indiana doesn't have a mandate yet. If you are a business owner, say you're headquartered in Indiana, but you have employees in Illinois or California or Oregon, a state with a mandate, if you hit that threshold of the number that's mandated, you have to offer a retirement plan. So there's really no workaround. There's no way around it. And they're trying to force people into the state-run plan, which is an IRA, which it's called the Illinois Secure Choice. Don't do it. It's like going to the DMV for your retirement plan. I wouldn't want my money with the government. I don't think you'd want it either.
Well, look at Social Security.
Yeah, that's running out. I think they're trying to come up with, like, who knows what's going to happen to that money down the line, right? So I really wouldn't risk it. And there's so many, it's administrative. It's a nightmare. It's clunky. On the business owner's end, it's super manual. They have to go in and make updates all the time. It's actually not free. A lot of people think it is. And it's an IRA. So the amount you can contribute is limited. And the federal government is offering up to $15,000 in tax credits over 3 years for starting a 401k. So there's a lot of other reasons why a 401k may make sense. But my team really, we try to educate people on this and just get them on a call to at least outline their options so they can make an informed decision.
Interesting. Hey, I just want to mention that if anybody out there has a question for Katie this morning, use the comments or the chat and send us a question. We'll be happy to try and get that addressed for you in the last couple of minutes here. So if you are curious about something that we've talked about here this morning, I just, I think that there's too much, control, like this mandate you're talking about. It becomes too controlling, right? People should, it kind of starts to take away some of that freedom or some of those benefits that we can provide for ourselves. And if people don't want to take advantage of something, why do they need to,
Yeah.
It was kind of the same thing with health insurance, right? And so it's interesting because I remember when the whole health insurance thing started to happen, we had somebody come into our business and evaluate where we were at. And, the Obamacare plan was going to be mandated, and not to get into, right or wrong here, but we were told by somebody who evaluated our business that within 5 years, the insurance policies would put us out of business based on what we would need to pay and things like that. It was a crazy report that we had gotten, and it almost makes people really, you have to take a double look at your business and what you're doing.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I understand for the small business owners that just made it through COVID and they're thinking, wow, I have all these expenses. How now I have to do this? How am I going to afford it? Because to my point earlier, 401k plans have been extremely expensive in the past.
Yeah.
So that's what we've sought out to help. We've automated the entire process. We have over 250 payroll integrations. So a lot of people know Paychex and ADP because you can have your payroll there, you can have your 401k, and it's easy, but it's expensive. And so we have the same model, but with amazing technology, amazing customer service, and a better price point. And you're going to get tax credits, potentially. Sometimes, I've seen a 401k pay for itself. And not only are you going to have to offer something, but in a post-pandemic world where a lot of employers are struggling with hiring and retention, 401k should be a basic benefit you're offering anyway, or you're going to lose good people. So it's definitely, it's worth a conversation at least to explore your options.
So human interest does a couple of things though, right? I mean, you guys not only do the 401k planning for small businesses and that, but you do some payroll. What else?
So we only do 401k and then 403b for nonprofits. That's all we do.
Okay.
There's a lot
Okay.
of players out there that try to do everything, and
Yeah.
they're not really, specialized in anything.
Okay.
We want to specialize and be focused in what we do and be the best. And so that's why we only do that. But like I mentioned, we have over 250 payroll integrations, which really automates the entire process. All of the information flows back and forth. If someone makes there's a change in payroll, it automatically reflects in the 401k. I know some business owners that are doing this manually. And so that takes a lot of time. And so, pretty much any payroll provider out there, you name it, we integrate with.
Yeah. Okay. That brings clarity to it. So good. Hey, so I know you and I met at a networking event. We have a mutual friend, Moose, who introduced us, and we met at a networking event. I know you're a huge networker. What do you have any events coming up?
I don't have any coming up in the next week or so, but definitely towards the end of September.
Okay.
I'm a big proponent of Tony P's events, Greater River North Business Association. Those are kind of my two main ones I go to. But yeah, there are a few coming up in September and October that I
great.
get involved in.
Yeah, Tony P puts on kind of a wild event. Pretty often. So
yeah.
Crazy. But hey, Katie, so how do people get a hold of you when, if they have questions or they want to learn a little bit more?
Yeah, so you can reach me, add me on LinkedIn, please feel free. It's under Caitlin, Katelyn, Mertens, or feel free to email me. It's Caitlin.Mertens. I think it's on the bottom of the screen at humaninterest.com.
Yeah. And it's an easy company name to remember, right? Human Interest. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. All right, perfect. Hey, I appreciate you being here this morning. Any last thoughts or comments for our listeners?
No, I really just, please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, or if anyone out there listening knows of any business owners that are struggling and looking for help. I'm always happy. I'm always here as a resource. So please reach out if you need anything. Other than that, I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and you're not just local to Chicago, right? I mean, you could do anything on a national basis.
Yeah, we're all over the place. So
okay, perfect. Good to know. All right, perfect. Hey, listen, I'm going to move you out back to the back room for a minute. If you hang out with me for a minute, I'm just going to say goodbye.
Okay, thanks.
All right, perfect. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here this morning. And that was my guest, Katie Mertens. Great content, right? And what's interesting is what she said, that 67 million people don't have a retirement savings. So whether you reach out to her and look at a traditional type of investment product or process for your business, or you want to do something on the alternative side, using real estate, don't hesitate to look at either way that would work for you and your company. I appreciate you being here this morning. Remember, if you're on social media, like us, love us, follow us, subscribe on our YouTube channel. We appreciate the support. Our multifamily summit coming up in the end of October 20th through the 22nd. 3-day virtual event, the biggest virtual event of the year. We're going to be have a lot of fun, a lot of networking. There's going to be over 20 speakers this year, 3 panels. We're going to play the game cash flow, breakout sessions. You're going to get your fill, and it will be a great event, being that we've done this multiple times now. So look forward to seeing you there. Get registered at multifamily22.com, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, Saturdays we do Multifamily Unplugged on